So evening, lovely yogis. Lovely bright evening this evening as well. Gorgeous sun, still out. It always lifts the spirits when we have a little bit longer days. So just begin where you're comfortable, lying down or seated. And we'll just kind of gently ease into this space. Maybe close your eyes for a few moments. And just come to notice all the tension that you still might be holding. Perhaps around the shoulders, are they tight? Is there a tension in your jaw? Perhaps even wrists and hands and fingers. And just seeing if with every time that we breathe and every out breath, we can just gradually start to let it go. Where our body has been in automatic pilot most of the day, with the mind doing the same thoughts and the body doing the same actions. And we're lucky to have our mind and body do this most of the time. But it is really lovely when we can get on the mat and become conscious to our unconscious thoughts. Tune in more deeply to the feelings and emotions that come up, that are in response to our thoughts. Most of the time we are thinking and feeling and thinking and then feeling and thinking, and this repeats. So we're just enjoying being the observer of the connection of mind and body. Just have a moment to stand back and be the observer of your thoughts and your breath for a moment. Thinking about how it feels to breathe. And really linking with that cognition of following the mechanics of the breath. So we'll begin our practice with meditation. If you're lying down, just swing your knees in, have a little moment to rock. And if you're already seated, then just maybe getting a bit more comfortable, making sure that the body feels relaxed to settle. Maybe a nice stretch through the neck. And then coming to seated, and we'll take Zazen, where we're just following our breath when the mind wanders off, but just allowing ourselves to be the witness of our thoughts, so that third person, that observer of the thoughts, rather than the thoughts thinking us and it being unconscious. And just being in this state. Perhaps some thoughts will amuse us, some thoughts may be inspiring, others may be more negative, but just simply to witness whatever happens without judgment or changing it. So I'll start the timer for about 5 minutes like we normally do, and then relaxing. Simply relax the body first, giving the mind a little bit more advantage to relax too. Noticing how you feel in your body and in your mind. Relaxing even more. Connecting with that state of just being. We'll gently just return, blinking our eyes open. Just noticing how you feel, having that really quite quiet time just to be, observe the thoughts, and being the witness to them is really important and empowering. So we'll come into caterpillar, our first pose. Just moving away any moon cushions or meditation cushions you've been on, and gently coming into a pose with the legs out front. If you want something under your knees, then you can do. But if you're comfortable without, then that's fine. And then we're just going to simply lean forward. There's Seated forward bend. It offers a wonderful stretch for the whole back of the body. And really, more than all the other meridians, targets the bladder. So seeing how much you can relax. If the legs feel tense and you relax them and they may rotate a little, softening your ankles. And then when it feels right and it feels safe, you can relax the head and neck a little bit more. Releasing the head and neck. Drawing your awareness to your breath in the belly. And the stretch you get through your back as you breathe. How do you feel in this pose? Notice the thoughts that may then create the feelings and emotions. And how the body responds. Noticing where you most feel this pose, whether it's the backs of your knees, a deep stretch in the hamstring, the back of the thigh, or whether it's lower back, and how the pose has progressed in the time we've sat here. Let's take a deep breath and really ever so slowly just observing how we lift out and relax down. Again, nice and slowly, how you just allow the body to roll out to the mat. Nice deep breath. And then just checking in with what that initial thought was that you thought just as you were lying in this position. And then what you're feeling. Nice long, slow breaths. And then gently, when you're ready, let's bring the right leg in first. And then the left leg. A soft, nice little rock or a roll. A few deep breaths. And gently roll up. So having taken the body forward, stretching the back, we're going to come into mantis. So taking knees wide, where we just get a little bit of a curve into the lower lumbar spine. And so just resting the body down. If you want a pillow under the chest, that's quite nice. Otherwise, just coming into this pose. If you need anything behind your knees, just to soften the compression, that's always an alternative as well, like a rolled up blanket. A lovely stretch through the back here and arms. And just noticing how you feel. Where are you feeling it most? Could be the inner thighs. Being gentle with your knees if there's issues. Maybe there's a tension between your shoulder blades and the upper spine. And just checking in with how you feel around your hips. If there's a nice stretch that's allowing them to soften now. How are you thinking and feeling? Relaxing fingers and hands. And noticing if your breath is full or shallow. Following your breath. Witnessing your mind. Just being the most conscious and connected you can be. You are the observer. Just keep noticing what else you can relax, what tenses up again. And we'll take a deep breath. Ever so slowly lifting the head because we've had the head really low. Just avoiding any dizziness, gently coming up. And then finding neutral. Noticing how it feels through the upper part of your back, even though that was quite a very gentle shape to our spine. It should feel really quite lovely through the back now. It's so curious, every time we come out of a different posture, how the body feels so different. Perhaps you can feel a lot of coolness around the tops of your feet, ankles and shins, connecting to the mat and enhancing that chi movement through our legs. Notice the tops of the thighs, around the groin as well. And lovely deep breaths. The chest is open, easy to breathe. And just as you watch all the sensations fading, again, be that witness. And when you're ready, we'll hug our knees in. Take a moment here, really enjoy the after effects. A nice long rock. Lifting the head if you want to as well. So we're going to come into hedgehog. Not a pose that we normally do. And we won't hold it for too long, but you'll know this as happy baby. So you can bring the hands onto your feet, but if that's a bit uncomfortable, it's a little bit more relaxing, I find, just to rest the hands behind the backs of the knees, perhaps. Or you can have them round the shins, whatever feels right for you, whatever you prefer. So this is a real opener through the hips, the groin, the tops of the legs and the hip flexors. Choose where you want your hands to relax. We won't hold this for the whole 5 minutes that we normally do because it is very intense. But just try to relax a little bit through it. Where the tops of the thighs, maybe trying to hold the position in place. Just see if you can let go. If the feet sort of start to lower, that's okay. Try and relax through the legs, the lower parts of the legs as well. It's a pose that kind of keeps you on your toes, I think, a lot of the time. Becoming aware of where you're holding tension, but also trying to relax at the same time. breathing gently, noticing the breath. There's a lot going on. So we'll just take a breath now, draw our knees into centre. So that was only really a couple of minutes in that one. So it is quite an intense pose. Take yourself into Shavasana and just enjoy what you feel, especially around the tops of the legs, the hip creases. Notice what you're feeling, whether it's warmth or coldness, tingling. Checking in with how the lower back feels as well. Relaxing through your back and spine. Following your breath, allow the breaths to be nice and long. And then let's hug in. If you've got a strap handy, we're going to come into hammock next. Have just a few moments to roll. And with the yoga strap, making a nice long loop. And with this one, we'll start in this lying position. Pop the strap around the ball of the foot. And then just gently bring it behind the head, but not around the neck. Try and make sure that the strap is more around the base of the skull. And you'll find that the strap kind of overlaps maybe the tops of your ears. So definitely not around the neck. It's mainly the base of the head and skull. And then your left leg can be either sort of bent like this or extended to the mat, whatever feels right for you. And just sort of enjoying this pose. The beauty of this pose, I find, is that you have the option of sort of pushing into your foot a little and stretching through the back of the neck and the upper part of the back, or allowing the foot to soften and the head to become really quite heavy, and then you get that real stretch through the back of your leg and your hamstring. And you can alternate between these sort of two feelings, depending on what you're more drawn to this evening. Deep breaths. Relax your shoulders. Relax your face. And take a nice sort of gentle, generous bend in the knee if you need to. And close the eyes. Maybe you'll feel a lot more when you close your eyes. Notice where your mind wanders, whether you can stay present with your breath and sensation in the body. And if you want to, I often like to just offer you the opportunity to unhook the strap from your head and just take a few moments to hold the strap with your hands and just play with the different sort of sensations you get through maybe straightening and lowering the leg a little, swinging your leg out to the side, how that changes the stretch through the hamstring, the back of the leg. Notice the inner thighs, hips, and just being sort of gentle with yourself, like not moving too quickly. Bending at the knee if you need to. And just allowing the stretch that we've had so far to encourage the movement. And when you're ready, slowly just let your leg rest down to the mat. And if you want to quickly sort of swap your feet over, you can do, or leave it for a moment. Just enjoy the after effects of that side of hammock. Where can you feel that? Really, perhaps a lot through the back of your thigh, around the buttock. Maybe the neck feels a little bit more released, a little lengthened. Just tuning in. What do you feel? Where do you feel it? Just being conscious. And so we'll come into the other side. If you want to bring your knees in for a little hug first, you can do. But if you've already got your strap around your foot, and you're just popping it again around the back of the head, base of the skull bone, and exploring how it feels this side. Moving between the stretch of the neck and the back of the leg. And if you can close your eyes and really just go inwardly with what you're feeling, what you're thinking, and that whole cycle of thinking and feeling and thinking. Relax your face and around the eyes. Just noticing how relaxed you feel. And enjoying this very, very gradual stretch through the backs of your legs. Again, another one for stimulating certain parts of the bladder meridian. Gently notice your breath, whether you're belly breathing, whether it's a nice soft rhythmic flow. And then again, like we did on the other side, if you want to unhook the strap from the back of the head and just enjoy playing with the movement. Noticing the difference that you experience from the right side and the left. Just noticing your body in a very different way from how we do day to day. When you do feel elements of the deep stretch, perhaps it isn't actually uncomfortable as such, it's a curious feeling and sensation in the body. And so when you're ready, just gently lower the leg down. Pop the strap to the side, release it so that you can just feel the after effects of the pose. Perhaps you get that sort of tingling around the bottom of the foot where the strap was. A lovely sensation through the inner part of the legs and the back of the legs. So bladder, liver, kidney and spleen channels. You may notice even the extension of those channels that stem from the legs, and there might be sensation a little bit across the belly and torso. Just being. Gently draw the knees in. We're going to come into bench. So if you've got a cushion handy, you might find that you perhaps need a little blanket for the back of your neck. Always have one handy. You may not need it, but it's always lovely to have one handy. Take the cushion just slightly away from the back, and as you roll back, you have less of a curve in the lumbar and a bit more through thoracic. Sometimes just using that rolled blanket for the neck is just, even if you don't need it, it's just a lovely comforting feeling. And let's just enjoy this pose. Perhaps we'll take a little bit longer than we normally do because we've taken a little bit shorter in the other poses. If you can allow yourself to become as relaxed as possible, you can have the time to tune into your breath. Become the witness. How does it feel to breathe? Keep trying to relax perhaps the back of your neck and your facial muscles. Release the chin and jaw. Just becoming aware of whether your vibration just sort of becomes more meditative here. And then when you're ready, we'll take a lovely deep breath. Lifting your head slowly and just coming up gently, moving the cushion and blanket if you have. Lying back down. Perhaps feeling very gentle with your body. The breath is slow and deep. And then we're going to come into the last pose for a few minutes, what we call puddle, which is in effect Shavasana. So the pose that we're already lying in, but coming into it with a sense of being completely and utterly observant of everything that you're feeling here. So taking the awareness and the relaxation to a real more deep conscious level. Relaxing your back, every part of your spine. Noticing your fingers, the curve of your fingers, the curl in the palm, wrists. Deeply aware of whether the shoulders and upper arms are relaxed. And what more we can release through our neck. Rotate your awareness to your forehead and the muscles around your eyes. And then checking in with the backs of your knees and where your heels and ankles rest on the mat. Returning to your lower back. Just rotate your awareness round. Gentle breath. The difference between this and relaxation is that you're very consciously aware of the lying position, the active or passiveness of your body. Witnessing your thoughts in this pose. Total awareness and consciousness. So as we release the real deep consciousness that is needed in that posture, we can bring our knees in, have a little hug, and finally deciding whether we want to come into seated or remain lying down for relaxation. What does your body desire? What does it need? Sometimes coming seated is more comfortable in some way. So let's come into relaxation. If you've chosen to remain lying down in neutral spine Shavasana, allow it to take on a different feeling in relaxation. When we're in puddle, we're very aware, we're very conscious, we're very connected to the body. But in relaxation, allow all that to just disperse. So a very different feeling mentally. And if you're seated, as always, relax and make yourself comfortable and warm. And we'll take some inspiration from the cards. What a lovely little message are we going to get given this evening? Always open to a lovely little bit of wisdom. And just taking one with my eyes closed. That way I always feel like it is something that's just been destined to be given. So, Adriana. Okay. So as you relax there, I am leading you toward the answer to your prayers. Please listen to and follow the steps that I'm communicating through your intuition, thoughts, and dreams. We have heard your prayers, and we are glad that you have asked us to help you. As you may know, we can only help if you request assistance. The way that we angels answer your prayers is by giving you guidance that will lead you to take the steps towards your higher self's will. Notice repetitious thoughts and feelings, or vivid visions, dreams, or auditory messages. These are my loving messages, urging you to take action or to make changes. I will make sure that you are safe while you follow divine guidance. Together we will work to coordinate and create your answered prayers. So that's a lovely little one. I often do believe that we always have to ask assistance, and unseen assistance is always available, but you do have to ask. And we do get messages in the form of something we see on a billboard, that we're a little bit more noticeable on an advert, or a friend says, or a few friends say repeatedly. Perhaps it's a song we hear on the radio with lyrics that just make sense in that very moment more than any other time. Or we're guided intuitively to go into a certain shop or talk to somebody we'd not normally talk to. Lots of lovely ways to be guided on our path in very unknown ways. Just have a few moments to reflect. Maybe you've had past experiences where a chain of events led to something that was divinely destined. So very gently, as you lie or sit there with your eyes still closed, just bring your awareness back with my voice. Take a few moments to connect back with your breath. And as we do this, we can have a wonderful appreciation for our lungs and our heart, our brain, all the parts of our body. And if you're lying down, just begin to wiggle fingers and toes and then hug your knees in. If you're seated, just gently move, rock. From having that stillness and quietness, the body sensations drift away. So just a little bit of movement comes back into our physicality. Deep breath. So coming up to seated. And then when you're ready, you can bring hands to heart center. Om Shanti. Namaste.